Hi guys, it's Miss Pogan. We're all done with our math chapter 12, which was on sorting and classifying data. That means that we are grouping pieces of data according by how they are the same and how they are different. We worked with shapes, sizes, and colors in this chapter, and today we're going to finish our review/test. So what you need to get started is your workbook, chapter 12 workbook, a pencil, and then if you have something to color with at home, we need the colors you see in your workbook: green, yellow, red, and blue. So go ahead and get your supplies, push pause, and come back, push play when you're ready to start your test. I'm going to read the problems for you, the directions for you. After you hear the directions, pause the video, try to do the problem by yourself, and come back to check your work with me. Number 1 says, Lynn sorted some shapes into categories by color. Look at the shape at the beginning of the row. Here's the shape at the beginning of the row, and we're sorting by color. Mark an X on the category that shows where the shape belongs. So I see that she's made 2 categories. Here's category number 1, and here's category number 2. If I'm sorting by color, where does this blue circle belong? Pause the video, choose the correct category, and come back to check your work. When we're sorting by color, it doesn't matter that this is a circle, that's its shape. I'm looking for blue, the color. I don't see any blue shapes here. I see all blue shapes here, so I know that the second group is where the blue circle belongs. Number 2 says, draw and color a shape that belongs in this category. Okay, so pause the video, come back when you're ready to check your work. For number 2, this time, again, shape doesn't matter. I see lots of shapes in this category, but color does matter. What this group has in common is they are all green. So I'm going to choose any shape, draw it in this box. What's important is I make sure it's green. I'm going to choose a triangle. Any shape you chose is fine as long as you chose green. Problem number 3 says, look at the shape at the beginning of the row. So here's the shape we're looking at. We're looking at a red triangle. Mark under all the categories the shape can belong to. Okay, so we're looking at its color and we're looking at its shape. Mark the categories it could belong to. Where is it alike the other groups? And then come back to check your work. Okay, I'm looking at a red triangle in group number 1. I see that the shapes are not all the same color, but they are all triangles. So yes, a triangle can belong there. Group number 2, I see lots of different shapes, but what they have in common, they're all red. A red triangle again could belong there. In group number 3, I don't see shapes that are the same color, but they are all squares. A square could belong there, but a triangle cannot, so this would not be correct. Flipping to 718, problem number 4 says, draw and color a shape that belongs in this category. Pause the video and come back when you're ready to check your work. Okay, if I'm drawing and coloring a shape that belongs in this category, first I need to define this category. The colors I see are red, yellow, blue, and green, so any color I choose will fit in this category. The shapes I see all have 4 vertices and 4 sides. I see squares and I see rectangles. So to belong in this category, I can choose any color, but I must choose a shape with 4 sides. I can choose a rectangle, or I can choose a special rectangle, which would be a square. Problem number 5. Mark an X on each big shape. Write how many big shapes there are. Draw a circle around each small shape. Write how many small shapes there are. Okay, so now I'm done looking at color. I'm done looking at shape. I'm looking at size, and I'm doing this sort by myself. So first, I'm going to pause the video and make an X on the big shapes, label them, circle the small shapes, and label them. Come back when you're ready to check your work. I see 1, 2 big shapes. Around the track and back, choo, choo, choo. That's the way I make a 2. I see 1, 2, 3, 4 small shapes. Down, across, down once more. That's the way I make a 4. My last problem on this page says, mark under the chart that shows the shapes correctly classified. So if I'm trying to classify by size, big and small, I need to check the shapes in each category and make sure they belong there. Over here in the big category, yes, I agree that these are both big. In the small category, I agree these 3 are small. Not so sure about that one. That one doesn't look small. Let's check the second group. In the big category, yep, I see 3 big shapes. In the small category, Yep, I see 3 small shapes. So I would say the correct chart that has the shapes correctly classified is number 2. The first one we correct if this large rectangle was in the big column. Okay, we're already halfway done with our test. We have 4 problems left. We're on problem 7, which is on 719. The directions say sort and classify the shapes in each category. Draw each shape on the graph and write how many of each shape. Okay, so I have 3 things to do. I'm going to sort the shapes by category, draw the shapes on the graph, and write how many of each shape. Come back to me when you're ready to finish that problem together and check your work. Okay, I'm going to start with the triangles. In order to make sure I count all my triangles, I'm going to cross them out while I count. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to move my 4 triangles down to my graph. And if I don't draw a perfect triangle, that's fine. It's not art class. I'm just trying my best. I know a triangle has 3 sides and 3 vertices. If I need help drawing a triangle, I can draw the vertices first and connect the dots. When I have 4 triangles drawn, I'm just going to go ahead and label it now so I don't forget. Down, across, down once more. That's the way I make a 4. I'm going to do the same thing, count my circles. 1, 2, 3. Move my circles to my graph. 1, 2, 3. And then label my circles. Around the tree, around the tree. That's the way I make a 3. Problem number 8 says Jake sorted some shapes. Then he made a graph. Count how many shapes there are in each category. Mark an X on the category that has more shapes. Go ahead and try that one and come back when you're ready to check your work. Okay, so in problem number 7, we had to sort the shapes ourselves. Problem number 8, the shapes are already sorted, but we need to count them and figure out which shape has more. So while I count the circles, I'm going to cross them out. 1, 2, 3. And you didn't have to label, but I'm going to label so I don't forget. Around the tree, around the tree. That's the way I make a 3. Let's count the squares. 1, 2. Around the track and back, choo, choo, choo. That's the way I make a 2. I'm marking an X where I see more shapes. I know that 3 is greater than 2. There are more circles. Even before I counted that, when I graph shapes, I'm putting them in a nice, neat line or nice, neat columns. So I can tell, here's a partner, here's a partner. There is no partner for this last circle, so I already know that the circles have more. Problem number 9 says, is this chart sorted by color, size, or shape? We're choosing yes or no. Okay, so let's look at the chart. I see a red square as our label, and inside the chart, I see a red square, a red square, a red square. This one's small, this one's large, this one's kind of medium. My second piece of the chart is a blue circle. I see a large blue circle, a small blue circle, a large blue circle, a medium blue circle. So if we're looking at color, yes or no? Is this chart sorted by color? Yes. If we're looking at size, yes or no? Is this chart sorted by size? No. And if we're looking at shape, yes or no? Is this chart sorted by shape? Yes. The last problem on our test, choose all sets with the same number of objects. So go ahead and pause it. Come back when you're ready to check your last problem. All right, for number 10, we're choosing all sets with the same number of objects. So what I need to do first is count how many objects are in each set. The first one is triangles. I'm going to cross out while I count so I don't double count something or skip anything. 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to label so I don't forget. Around the tree, around the tree. That's the way I make a 3. My second set is rectangles. Just 1. Circles. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to label so I don't forget. My last group is squares. 1, 2. Around the track and back. Choo, choo, choo. That's the way I make a 2. Okay, so which ones are equal or the same? I see 2 that have 3 shapes in them. 3 and 3 are the same, so my correct answer is the group of triangles and the group of circles. Okay, make sure you submit your test to your teacher for participation points and have a good rest of the week.